It's 2015, and climate change is one of the biggest challenges of our time. But while it may seem like all of this fuss over global warming is a recent phenomenon, concern over the role of atmospheric carbon dioxide in our planet's climate has a long history. Let's step back in time for a minute. With the transition to new manufacturing techniques and the rapid exploitation of natural resources, the Industrial Revolution of the 19th century marked a turning point in how we as humans relate to our environment, prompting concerns about how we might be affecting our surroundings. In 1824, Joseph Fourier was the first to suggest that without our atmosphere, the Earth would be a very frigid place, and the term greenhouse effect goes all the way back to this early paper. A few decades later, John Tyndall isolated certain gases, including the potent greenhouse gases carbon dioxide and methane, that are especially good at absorbing outgoing radiation. And by the end of the century, Svante Arrhenius was calculating potential effects that human emissions could have on global temperatures. In the 1930s, E.O. Hulbert found that doubling atmospheric CO2 could cause the Earth to warm by 4 degrees Celsius. And a few years after that, Guy Callender identified a rising trend in both global temperature and CO2 concentration over the previous few decades. The mid-20th century was a time of great change for government involvement in scientific research. In 1957 to 58, the International Geophysical Year brought 67 nations together to participate in collaborative projects tackling outstanding problems in the earth sciences. As part of these efforts, Charles Keeling began direct measurements of atmospheric CO2 in 1958 and soon demonstrated a steady increase each year. Public health concerns like London's Great Smog of 1952 and the hole in the ozone layer inspired investigations into the links between human activities and climate feedbacks. At the same time, geological research into deep-sea sediment cores and Antarctic ice records started to fill in the bigger picture of Earth's climate record over billions of years. In this context, the unprecedented warming trend, noticed a few decades earlier and confirmed by new studies, was pretty alarming, and the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, or IPCC, was established in 1988 to gather and interpret cutting-edge research. That was a quarter of a century ago, and since that time, the IPCC has put out 5 major reports confirming that the planet is warming, that human activities have and will continue to contribute to it, and that we're already seeing its effects in global mean temperature rise and extreme weather patterns. In 2013, atmospheric CO2 reached 400 parts per million for the first time in history. And last year, this trend continued, and 2014 has been confirmed as the hottest year on record. We are already feeling the effects of climate change, and we cannot ignore or deny the consequences of what is going on. We need to better understand how the Earth system works and responds to changes, especially the carbon cycle, and that's why NASA launched the Orbiting Carbon Observatory-2 last year. If we can track down and measure the CO2 being absorbed at carbon sinks and emitted at sources, we'll have a better global picture of where we're headed. OCO2 is part of a long tradition of engagement with the natural world, gathering information, staying curious, and preparing for the future.